Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Are these fighters ducking? Are fighters out here chasing paper? Now, my thing is, everybody's gonna have an opinion, but if someone's putting duck sauce on the fried rice to go and get bigger money, then why not? You know what I'm saying? What made me do this video is I see a lot of people out here talking about, Tank, Shakur, Canelo, Tszyu, Crawford, Earl Spence, heavyweights, etc. And what I'm noticing is there's a bit of a pattern here with people who, if the fight they want doesn't happen, they're quick to say someone putting duck sauce on the fried rice. Now we know Canelo and Benavidez, right? And I'm not here to really talk too much about that. But Canelo and Benavidez, before I was defending Canelo, and I was like, look, he can do what he wants. Then I was like, okay, it's a little ridiculous. Benavidez deserves a fight. But then I sit here now and I listen to Canelo. And Canelo makes some valid points. Now, I don't agree with Canelo, but I understand. Because I could relate with that shit. You get to a certain point in your career. For me, you had a tactical level, operational level, and strategic level. Once I got to that strategic level, don't expect me to do tactical level bullshit. I may show you at the tactical level the things I did there and help get you through little obstacles or challenges you face. I may help you at the operational level to help you get through what little challenges you face. So that ultimately, those individuals at that tactical and operational level, from the wisdom that I impart to them, can bubble up and get to where I'm at or go further. So I understand Canelo saying, look, man, why would I go ahead and do these things that I've already done before? I don't need to be out here getting into these big high-risk fights. You know what I'm saying? I did what I was supposed to do. I fought all the hard fights. Look at my resume. I'm at a point now where it's like we say in the military, rank has its privileges. Well, boxing has its privileges. And when you're a pay-per-view star like Canelo, you know what? And you're the cash cow. You get to do what you want. So do I think Canelo ducking Benavidez? I think Canelo knows anyone he fights, he can make good money. But I do want to say this, and then I'm going to stop talking about Canelo and Benavidez, right? I think Canelo, after he gets through this fight with Berlanga, which I think he beats him, we're going to see what Canelo's going to do here, because it's either things are going to work out really great for him to go sign another 1, 2, 3 fight deal, or it's going to work out really bad for him. Because when you look at him historically, how he's performed before he signed a big deal with Eddie, then over here when he signed a big deal with PBC, he had pretty handsome pay-per-view numbers. But I don't know with Jamel Charlo. I think they didn't hit the mark that they were hoping for. I think here with Berlanga, I don't know if it's going to hit what they're hoping for. And then before that, he fought I think a Ryder. Yeah, Ryder, Jamel. Oh, then Munguia. It was Munguia, right? So I'm not sure Canelo is performing pay-per-view wise where he would like to be, but he's still doing well, right? But I do feel that out of everyone out there for Canelo to fight, I think if he fought Benavidez, that he would make. But he don't care about money. He's got money. But I think they would do really good pay-per-view wise. That being said, is Canelo ducking Benavidez or is he chasing paper? I think he's chasing paper. Some people are going to say he's putting duck sauce on the carne asada. I could see that too. But ultimately, if you listen to him, he's telling you straight to your face, like he's not even trying to hide it. I do what I want. And he doesn't want to fight him, so it is what it is. Now let's come and talk about this Tszyu shit. This thing about Tszyu putting duck sauce on, I don't know what they're eating in Australia. You know what I'm saying? A little crocodile burger and shit, right? I like the Aussie, oi. But the idea that Tszyu is ducking Terrence Crawford, right? The idea that Fundora is ducking Terrence Crawford. these people throw around this duck word. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the blue hat bullshit and the you don't know shit about boxing. Or, they talk race and shit. Boxing fans bug me out. It's like, yo, they just hear somebody say something, it sounds cool, they come out here like a parrot and repeat the shit. But Tszyu is not ducking Terrence Crawford. Now, he's not ducking Virgil Ortiz. Now, understand this. I get it that it would be cool, right? Now, from reading through the comments and doing a little bit of research, what I gather is, of course, Turki Al-Sheikh wanted Tszyu to fight Virgil Ortiz on the Riyadh card. To be probably to be the co-main to Crawford and Madrimov, somewhere there, right? But anyway, that didn't work out because Tszyu still had, supposedly his head didn't heal up. I already did videos talking about this. I don't believe that Tszyu wasn't able to fight, on that card with Crawford. I don't believe Fundora wasn't allowed to fight. But it is what it is, But I think Turki Al-Sheikh wanted Tszyu to now come and fight Virgil Ortiz, since Virgil Ortiz won. I think that's what Turki Al-Sheikh wanted from Tszyu. Was like, okay, if you fight the winner of Virgil Ortiz and Bohachuk. But Tszyu, he's not ducking anyone because now he's got a fight lined up with Murtazaliev. Understand this, right? If Tszyu fought on the next Riyadh season card, okay, and let's say he fought Virgil Ortiz, I mean, how much money would he make? Now, Virgil Ortiz, is that an easier fight than Murtazaliev or a harder fight? I'm not sold on Virgil Ortiz anymore, and I'll say it again. I think at 147 he was an absolute menace. I even said he beat everybody, but at 154, I'm not sold on Virgil Ortiz. Likeable guy, but I think Tszyu beats him. But for me, Murtazaliev may be an easier fight for Tszyu. When you just look at it on paper and records and resumes, Murtazaliev may be an easier fight. But when you hear a name like Murtazaliev, Bakram Murtazaliev, that shit should make you uncomfortable because them Eastern European fighters are out here putting bings on people. So that fight may not go the way Tszyu thinks it may go if, in fact, he's out here, man, picking cherries and shit and trying to pop them right. That shit may explode in his face. But if to me, it makes more sense to fight a guy like Murtazaliev. You may not make as much for him that you would for Virgil Ortiz. But then you pick up that belt, and now you got a little bit more leverage when you go into negotiations. Because the bottom line with Turki Al-Sheikh, it's all about negotiations. If you have a title, that helps to open doors for you. Now, if he picks up this title and he still chooses not to fight a Virgil Ortiz or a Crawford or whoever has a belt, of Spence or Fundora, if it's a mandatory, it's a mandatory, right? But if there's an opportunity to unify and he chooses not to do it, well, then we can say, okay, and he's doing it for less money. At this point, I won't be able to understand that decision. And I'd have to say he's putting some duck sauce on the crock burger. You know what I'm saying? But Tszyu doesn't strike me as that kind of person. I just think it's smart to try to pick up a belt. Maybe you don't make the money that you could for going into a non-title fight. And you have that in place. Because that's the other thing with Tszyu. Nothing's really guaranteed. I mean, you get somebody tells you, hey, I give you my word. But I mean, come on now. We ain't got time for that shit, you know what I'm saying? Promise is a comfort to a fool. You know what I'm saying? Tszyu's no fool. So he's like, all right, I'll go out here, pick up this belt, and then we'll see what's up. But if he chooses not to do it, then you can say, man, okay, it's not even about money for him. It's really about the duck sauce. Now, when you come and you take a look at Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, and Fundora, I think Fundora, and this is the thing we need to understand sometimes, it's not even the fighters. It's the teams. Now, you listen to Fundora. Fundora was saying how he wanted to fight Crawford. And he understands the challenges that Crawford presents. But he also knows there's some money there. But he also knows if he has a belt, there's some good money he can make for less risk fights, right? But you listen to his team. His team did not want him to fight Crawford. And there are a lot of, and this is the thing, there's a lot of these people behind the scenes, they don't want their fighters to fight Terence Crawford or fight any opponent where they're like, that's too much of a risk. Now, case in point, you take a look at Earl Spence. He told Crawford back in the day, I mean, the video's out there, right? Where Earl Spence has on the red Nike hoodie. Super tight sweatsuit. The shit looked like it was his little brother's, right? But anyway, Earl Spence told Crawford, look, man, I'm going to go and get these belts. And basically said that, fighting like Sean Porter, like those are easier fights to him than fighting Terence Crawford. Get the belts, then you're going to, come after him. And there are a lot of people who said, Earl Spence is scared. He's putting duck sauce on the fried rice, blah, blah, blah. And of course, that wasn't the case, but Earl Spence was a man of his word. What he said he was going to do, he did. But then the only reason the fight happened, then you find out that his team didn't want it. It was his team. Okay? And Fundora is on PBC. And who's there trying to, prevent the fight? Who's trying to prevent that fight from happening? Is his team. So when you start sitting back watching things, man, I'm convinced 90% of fighters not fighting each other has to do with the politics of boxing and their teams. Because I'm pretty sure if it was up to these fighters, I'm sure they'd be in there scrapping. You know what I'm saying? So, Fundora, I don't think he's ducking. I don't think Tszyu's ducking. I don't think any of these guys are ducking. Earl Spence ain't ducking. What they're doing is that they're trying to go out and flush out better opportunities, less risk, so that higher return on their investment, because then they can go now and say, all right, now we can fight, but they can get more money. They hope they can get more money. But when you look at old Turkey Al-Sheikh over there, this is the problem with a guy like Turkey Al-Sheikh. He's showing us a little bit of his true colors. Now, I don't know him at all. But when I'm watching him, right, and from all the years I spent dealing with people, I'm watching him and I'm saying, this guy is entitled. He's used to getting his way. And for him to come out and say, Canelo's out here putting duck sauce on the carne asada, and Canelo's afraid to fight real threats. I said, this man is just like a little spoiled child who's not getting his way because he's used to getting his way. You know what I'm saying? A good example, right? True story I'm about to give you. We had a guy, I didn't know he had, I knew something was wrong with his feet, but he had flat feet, plantar fascia, and he was knock-kneed and pigeon-toed. So this guy would come into work, his boots were all bending inward. They were bending, you're supposed to be like this, they were bending inward because of how bad his feet were. But anyway, he was a young guy. I don't know how the hell he got in the military, but he did. And he would come to work some mornings late, right? And I was like, yo, my man, what's your story? I tried to work with him. And he was like, well, so some mornings it's just, I have some things going on and I don't really want to talk about it. I'm uncomfortable. I said, I get it, but you're showing up late. I said, at least give me a call. Let me know something. I said, but you don't want to talk to me. They had certain people, right, that he could talk to. Go talk to so-and-so. I said, but I'm going to document this. Now, what happened is this shit was happening over and over for like a month. So I said, cool. I called his previous assignment, his previous base, and got hold of his supervisor, his old supervisor. And I was like, hey, what's the deal with this guy? He's always coming late. Then what they told me was, because of the condition with his feet and everything, his mom would call him every morning and say a prayer for him. And he didn't care how long the prayer went or what they were talking about. He used to use that as an excuse to just, sometimes not come to work on time. And she said sometimes his mother wouldn't even call him. He would just lie. I said, okay, so what happened? She like he was there with y'all for a couple of years, and what happened? She's like, well, we just tried to work with him, but it was a sensitive issue. I said, okay, so he got used to getting his way. And she was like, well, she got offended when I said that. I said, all right, cool, y'all dropped the fucking ball, you know what I mean? So now I got to deal with this shit sandwich. So anyway, the guy comes in the next day, man, and I was like, look, my man, I know your story. I know the thing about your mom calling and all that. I said, but I'm telling you right now. And I was trying to be nice. I was like, but bottom line is, your mother got to call you at another time. You got to be here on time. Now, you get here, if nothing's going on in the morning and you want to take that phone call and go outside, that's cool. But your ass need to be here. You need to be in your uniform. And I documented, wrote his ass up. And that dude started going crazy. And I'm going to have my mom call up here and we're gonna get our lawyer and we're gonna press charges against you. And I was laughing. I was like, yo, little spoiled ass. Grown man. Hey, man was like 31 years old. I was like, spoiled ass, 31 years old. Still got your mama calling you. Still out here thinking somebody can give you a free fucking lunch in the world. It don't work like that, my man. Then come to find out supposedly his parents were millionaires or some shit. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Your mom or dad had, you know what I'm saying? You in this uniform in the military, dumbass. There's a standard. We all got to meet them, and there's an expectation, fool. And what ended up happening to him, man, I handled him on his evaluations and shit. Anyway, and I hated to do that to him, but he was a nice guy, but he was a fucking spoiled idiot. So anyway, he left out of there with a bad evaluation. He wasn't allowed to re-enlist. So he finished off at his next assignment. I think he had been in like 11 years. Anyway, he ended up finishing like a 13, 14 year. They didn't allow him to re-enlist because of that shit with just wanting to come late. Plus his feet were all fucked up. So they were like, okay, this guy he can't deploy, he can't do PT, he can't meet standards, he got to go. So when I look at Turki Al-Sheikh and the way he's responding and attacking people and threatening their careers and shit like that, I'm like, same kind of thing, man. Spoiled ass, you know what I'm saying? Not getting your way, and you want to come out here now and basically want to make people feel like they won't make any money in boxing, or I'm not going to allow you to get a fight against these guys because you didn't do what I told you. That shit is crazy to me. So Turki Al-Sheikh can kill all that noise. And as far as Canelo, I'm going to tell y'all right now, Canelo, he doesn't need Turki Al-Sheikh. All right, period. And I hear everybody talking about Gervonta Davis is ducking Devin Haney. Gervonta Davis is ducking Shakur Stevenson. Gervonta. I mean, goddamn, man. Y'all really out here looking at Gervonta Davis and talking about how Gervonta Davis putting duck sauce on the goddamn fried rice. Where y'all get that shit from? Y'all watching Gervonta? I don't see, and I'm being honest with you, I don't see anybody can watch Gervonta Davis and conclude that anybody at 135 beats him. I just don't get it. I don't get it. That shit is crazy to me. That someone will watch Gervonta Davis fight and feel that someone at 135 will beat him. Mind blowing. Then I hear people talking about Shakur Stevenson put duck sauce on the fried rice for Devin Haney. He wasn't chasing paper. Now, what I will say is I do think when a fighter gets offered a 4-for-1 deal, like what Shakur was being offered by Devin Haney, 4 fights, 4 belts, 1 fight, right? 4-for-1 deal. I don't see why anybody would turn that down. But if you listen to him, the money wasn't right. Like, no one knows the real story. He says one thing, Devin says one thing, the fly on the wall, these are times where I wish the fly could talk, right? But the bottom line is, it sounded to me like he was chasing paper and looking to do something different and somehow circle his way back and possibly make a fight with Devin. But I'm going to tell you, the way things are going for Shakur Stevenson, I think he has an uphill battle in front of him. Let me tell you something. He had an opportunity to fight Devin for undisputed. I think he would have beat Devin. I do. I think Shakur Stevenson fighting Devin at 135, Devin couldn't afford to even try to make 135 again. He would have forced himself to make it because he has discipline. I think Shakur Stevenson would have beat him. That's just me. But he missed that opportunity because of how he's being advised. And the perception was he put duck sauce on the fried rice, not out here chasing paper. But now you look at Shakur Stevenson. To get back, to have an opportunity to become undisputed at 135, he got some serious work to do. Now, when you just take a look at what's going on here at 135, right? Since we're talking about old Shakur Stevenson, right? This is what this man got to get through. Trying to get through Tank, right? Then you got Zepeda's his mandatory. First of all, let's just start there. How is he going to beat Zepeda? That's what I want to know. How's he going to beat Zepeda? What does Shakur possess that would keep Zepeda off of him? Now, Zepeda is a relentless, aggressive, high-volume puncher, and he's got some pop. There will be opportunities presented for Shakur to touch him up. Shakur's brilliant. He's extremely accurate, but he's lacking in power. If you don't, I just feel if Shakur Stevenson can't hurt Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson gonna lose that fight. That's just my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm looking at it stylistically. I think Shakur is in a bad spot. You're gonna see his back touch those ropes and just get pounded on, round after round after round. Kind of like how Maidana came at Adrian Broner. Very, very similar. Broner is more of a slick boxer. He needs space. He needs to work. And you got a guy who's just mauling you, throwing punches, man, from all angles. You're just 60, 70 punches around. And that guy's a pay that can throw up to 100 punches around. That guy's a machine. What does Shakur do when the jab ain't working? So you figure even if he does get past Zepeda, right? I tell you, if he gets past Zepeda, man, he deserves a gold star. I'll tell you that shit. But if he gets past Zepeda, now you look at, you got Baranchek out there, Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis. Man, he got an uphill battle to try to lock down those other three belts. And I'm just telling you, it ain't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Even if Tank comes out and him and Lomachenko figure it out and they end up fighting, right? Which doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. But let's say somehow stars line up and Lomachenko and Tank somehow reignite negotiations and the fight happens later this year. And Tank beats Lomachenko. Because I don't think Lomachenko beats Tank. So now Shakur say, okay, I'll fight Gervonta. He'll have the WBA and the IBF straps. So now I can go in there and basically end up in a 3-for-1 deal. We'll have all three belts on the line in one fight. But to think Shakur Stevenson is going to beat Gervonta Davis, again, I'm going to tell you, I just don't see it. And you know why I say that? Don't go off of your perception. Don't go off of your opinion, your emotions. When they were talking to Shakur Stevenson about Gervonta Davis, and they were like, hey, with Gervonta, he seems to be more than just his power puncher. You sparred him. What's your thoughts? He was like, yeah, he's more than just a power puncher. He's a smart boxer. He's smart. He's got IQ. And he was saying basically he's more like a boxer puncher. And it's the way he was speaking about Tank. I said, Tank done went in there and put the bing bings on him. So I think Shakur Stevenson, if he was to fight Tank, I think Tank's already scored a 10-8 round and they haven't even gotten the ring yet. I think Tank's already up 10-8. That's just me. I'm just watching the way Shakur Stevenson talks about him, and it looks to me like Shakur Stevenson isn't uncomfortable. He got plenty bark, but I don't think he quite has the bite when it comes to Tank. And I think if he gets in that ring with Tank, he's going to be shitting bricks, and y'all going to see him on that back foot a whole lot because he know Tank's coming, and Tank's going to be walking him into shit. As intelligent as Shakur is, I'm going off of the way he spoke about Tank, and his energy changed big time when he spoke about Tank. Just like when you hear them fighters in the heavyweight division talk about Martin Bakole, every single one of them, their energy changes. When they talk about Martin Bakole, their energy changed. Even old Big Mouth Gerald Big Baby Miller, his energy changed big time. I'm like, oh, okay. Martin Bakole, the real deal. Every single one of them heavyweights, they praise Martin Bakole. Same thing with people who've actually spent time with Tank in that ring, whether it's sparring or fighting. They praise that man because they know what he brings to the table. So, that being said, was Shakur Stevenson ducking Devin Haney or was he chasing paper? I think he was ill-advised and it was a paper chase. But ultimately, I think he regrets that. And there are a lot of people who see him as ducking Devin. Now, that being said, this 154-pound division. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. I am like, yo, I'm willing to bet on it. I don't even bet. I'm willing to bet. If I lose, I'll send somebody one of them hood champion. Don't take it to the stupid hats. I don't have no problem doing that, right? I think what's going to happen is Earl Spence and Fundora, they just firmed up the date for October. It's being announced, right? It's on, people. Earl Spence and Fundora are fighting in October. Okay. I think Fundora beats Earl Spence, but let's say Earl Spence beats him, right? I think Earl Spence could come out victorious because I just think when you look at what's going on out here and who's winning fights that doesn't deserve to win, the guy who they want to push is Earl Spence. And I think Earl Spence is going to end up getting the victory somehow, right? I think Fundora may deserve it, but I think Earl Spence is going to get the victory, right? That's just me. I may change that as we get closer to the fight day, but right now, just me looking at it, that's how I feel. And if Earl Spence beats Fundora, you're going to see now what Earl Spence has an opportunity to fight other guys at 154 pounds. And I don't think he's going to be worried about fighting Virgil Ortiz because they're pushing for Crawford and Ortiz to fight. I don't think he's going to push for, it'll be for an undisputed distinction is what it would be for. Because if Spence beats Fundora, he becomes a WBO and WBC champion, right? If Crawford, who's already the WBA champion and WBO interim, if Crawford beats Virgil Ortiz, he don't have none. If he beats Virgil Ortiz, then Crawford is in position to possibly fight the winner of Tszyu Murtazaliev, but it looks like Turki Al-Sheikh isn't going to allow that to happen, especially if Tszyu wins. So the push would be for Crawford, because I think he'll get past Virgil Ortiz, to fight Earl Spence. But I think Earl Spence is going to be seen as ducking Terrence Crawford because he's going to end up fighting Canelo. So everybody's going to say, oh, he's ducking Crawford, he's afraid to fight Crawford. And what's funny about it, right? Let's say Crawford ends up getting the Canelo fight. Let's say Earl Spence returns, he clips Fundora, picks up the WBO and WBC belts at 154, and he calls out Terrence Crawford. But at the same time, Canelo is like, yeah, I'll fight Terrence Crawford. And Crawford goes to fight Canelo. You know what they're going to say? Crawford put duck sauce on the fried rice, and he ducked Earl Spence. Stupid. Just like if Earl Spence gets the opportunity to go fight Canelo, they're going to say, oh, he's afraid of Bud. Bud beat the shit out of him at 147. He doesn't want to have the goddamn a repeat of that beatdown. You see what I'm saying? Everybody is putting duck sauce on the fried rice if you listen to these fans. But for me, I could understand the paper chase and trying to grab a huge opportunity for the least amount of risk. I get it. And I think they should. It's like you investing, right? The price on something, you buy low and you sell high, man. I mean, it's not that complicated. Just like in boxing, man, Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it, man. This ducking or chasing paper, it is what it is. Just like somebody having an opportunity to fight De La Hoya. Go out there and fight him and get that money back in there. Opportunity to fight Floyd or someone else. Well, you don't care about no title. If the guy you're fighting who doesn't have a title, you're going to make more money. It just is what it is, man. But I don't think Tszyu is ducking Crawford at all. I don't think anybody at 154 is ducking him out of fear of losing. I think they're all looking at different ways where they can pick up some hardware or increase their leverage going into negotiations. Because look, Turki Al-Sheikh is out here. At first I thought he was just giving people flat rates. No, you get this, you get that. There's no discussion, right? You have a little bit of a conversation, but there's no discussion. Now, from what it looks like with Turki Al-Sheikh, it looks like Turki Al-Sheikh, he kind of already has in his mind, this is what it's going to be. Take it or leave it. And I don't know what happened to him, but if you can pay Tyson Fury $170 million, goddamn, you can pay these other guys like a Crawford and Earl Spence and Tszyu. I mean, Crawford, at least, you can give him 50. Them other guys, you can give 10 or 15, so don't come out here with that bullshit, Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans all 7 continents. Duck, duck, goose. Wu-Tang, cream, chasing paper. I mean, everybody gonna have an opinion. But it's an interesting conversation. But I don't think, in most instances, I don't think they're putting duck sauce on the fried rice. I think it's the teams getting involved, complicating shit. And I think at the end of the day, most of these fighters want to make the most money. Some don't. But I think most of them are prize fighters. They fight for the prize. And that's the route they're going to go. In the breeze.